Over to Peter Ndoro, who is hosting our TNA in Durban with Dr. Nkosazana, Dlamini-Zuma, the African Union Commission Chair. Good morning to you, Peter.
A very good morning to you, Leanne, and good morning to everybody that's watching across the country and also across the continent. More than 49 countries tuning in for this conversation. Yeah, we're on the East Coast. We're in Durban today, and this is the venue for the latest in the series of New Age business briefings brought to you by the SABC, and today very kindly sponsored by Eskom 49M. Continue to be diligent in keeping all your appliances that they're not using off. But today, it's sharply in focus, women in leadership, but not just women in leadership, women in local government. And we're going to be asking some very important questions. The country population, 51% plus is women. And the big question, I guess, might be, is that the representation in terms of leadership, councillors in our local government sphere? Well, to give us, I guess, a window of the kinds of progress that's been made, we're in KwaZulu-Natal, and we're going to be exploring women in leadership in KwaZulu-Natal, the gains, the challenges, some of the learnings and progress that's been made, and perhaps use this as a vehicle to have a conversation nationwide. So wherever you may be watching this today, we'll have that conversation. At Morning Live, SABC is the address that you can use on Twitter to get your questions through to our panel, and we'll get those questions answered for you in real time. And to introduce our panel that will be taking us through this conversation, let me start by introducing our host, MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal, MEC Nomusa Dube-Ncube. Thank you very much indeed, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter.
And next to you is someone that is no stranger to South Africa, but more familiar now on the continent as the chairperson of the African Union, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to you.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Great. And next to you, we have the Mayor of uThukela District Municipality. And in fact, I'm looking forward to your insights because you've been in local government for many, many years, and you also wear a hat as an office bearer for the South Africa Local Government Association. So I'd like to get your insights as well about the progress that we've made on the ground from you. So thank you very much, Councillor Dudu Mazibuko, the Mayor of uThukela District Municipality. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Peter, and good morning to you too.
All right. Okay, so we're going to start this conversation here, but soon after, I look forward to your tweets if you've got any issues, concerns, maybe even solutions, suggestions. And Morning Live SABC is the Twitter handle. We've also got a studio audience here. And this week, for the past 2 days, and for 2 days, there's a Women in Leadership conference that's taking place, looking at women in local government. And to take us through that and why it came into being, there must have been something that you saw, MEC, 5 years ago, to bring this into fruition. Why the need?
Well, thank you, Peter, and to the viewers at home. We have this seminar of women in local government for the past 5 years now. The need arose from the gap that we saw in terms of how do women, councillors in particular, access information about what opportunities are available, but also how can they enhance their delivery of services in their community. Because you find that as a woman, you have to deal with everything. Anybody who's going through the family problems, they will come to you. Anybody who doesn't have money to take the children to school, the person, she will come to you. And yet the women were not exposed on various, information with different departments, different sector areas, particularly in terms of service delivery. But the one important thing as well was that we saw the need of ensuring that our women councillors go through training programs Yesterday we had more than 200 women graduating with the School of Business, and every year we have more women going through the program and graduating. Again, the need there to enhance their skills, to sharpen their minds in terms of how do we use the knowledge from the education or from the school universities to ensure that we enhance our service delivery where we come from. Many women here will be coming from small local municipalities, only one metro we have in the province, and many of those municipalities have very small budgets, and they're not able to reach as far as possible, but also the speed of service delivery in some of those municipalities is very low. And what you find in local government is that women's voice is not heard in terms of what is it that are our priorities to the communities, because it is a woman who suffer most when there's no electricity. It is a woman who suffer most when there's unemployment at home, or when you've got to go and fetch the woods because there's no electricity. But also, in the main, we saw that a lot of issues in local government affect women in particular, so we need to sharpen them with skills to be able to deliver better, to be able to have innovations as to how do they solve the problem of the communities.
All right. We're going to explore a little bit more of some of the points that you've raised. Particularly, I'm curious to know how far we've come in terms of women representation and also the progress that you're making with the skilling of these women. But we'll explore that shortly. Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, you are a guest speaker at the conference that these ladies are attending. And we'll explore some of your insights that you've seen on the continent as well. But what's going to be your key message to our delegates a little bit later on?
Well, I think there are going to be a few key messages. The first one, since we're talking to leaders in local government, is that leaders in local government, unfortunately, have to know everything. Because the population does not compartmentalize government. They don't say, oh, this problem that I have belongs to national, this belongs to the province, this belongs to local. If they have a problem, they want the person who's the face of government at the local level to be able to give them answers. But that means then that the other spheres of government have to be very generous with ensuring that councillors are empowered with the information which they can then give to the people. Because if people come to you and you have no answers, and you can't say even that, okay, I'll find out and come back to you, next time they'll say you're not a good councillor, even if they were asking you about things that don't belong to your sphere of government. Secondly, women at local government are really at the cold face of what other women and other people in the society experience. So it's important that they have the empathy and the compassion so that when people come with their problems, they can at least try and go beyond their call of duty to address them. But secondly, women generally, as you said yourself, are more than 51% of the population. But they also are the ones who are the pillars of families and communities. And that's where local government is. It's not in the boardrooms, but it's in the communities and families. And so it's important that women are leaders. We have a proportionate number of women there, because the people also who would be bringing problems on the whole will be women. And so it's easier for them if they are talking to another woman who is empowered and who knows what they are talking about. But we also feel at the continental level that if women are not involved in any of the programs that we do, they are not going to succeed. Because women bring skills and the drive and the passion that we need for programs to succeed. But they also bring a lot of knowledge. And they are also the ones who influence the young people, the children. So, and also, even economically, we feel that it's important to empower women, because research tells us that if a woman is working and earns an income, they spend at least 70% of their income on the family and the household generally, compared to men who spend 30% of their income on the household. So if we want families and communities to progress, it means the resources must be in the hands of the women, because they are the ones who are spending more of them at home.
Okay. All right, I think this is something that resonates with women here, and we'll get their viewpoints as well. But thank you very much for those opening thoughts, and we'll explore a little bit more, because I know particularly in areas like agriculture, women are the face of agriculture across the continent. We'll explore that a little bit later on. But as we've heard from our speakers, Councillor Mazibuko, you are the rock face. You are actually right at the place where service delivery happens. And you have a long history now in terms of local government, first at your local municipality and now district municipality. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, because we're here celebrating 15 years of democratic local government and the role of women, you are that person. And I'm just wondering, in your journey, what have you seen in terms of changes, progress? Give us a sense from your perspective, because you've lived the story.
There's been a lot of change since the wall-to-wall municipality implementation in 2000. We've seen a lot of female councillors getting in, even though there are still places where you find that there are only very few female councillors, because there are still communities out there that do not believe in women being a ward councillor. But even with the PR councillors, we don't have a lot of them, but we have made some strides. You know, in KZN, we are talking about, out of 61 municipalities, about 20 female mayors and deputy mayors, but very few speakers and chief whips. And as female councillors, we have to take two steps forward than our counterparts, male counterparts, because we have to prove ourselves that we can do the work. We have to work harder. But I think with us female, we do understand what is happening on the ground. You know, when somebody comes with any problem, we solve all the problems. We usually say we are nurses, we are doctors, sometimes we are priests, we are everything. When the child is born, the councillor must see to it that the child gets grant, gets to school. Even at death, we have to play a role as councillors. But female councillors do it much better than the male counterparts, because you know, as a woman, you get into the picture or into the situation that that person is facing. So it has been quite a long journey, and we've seen a lot of changes regarding moving from people wanting service delivery, basic needs, and now to where we are seeing our communities faced with unemployment, inequality. That is what is now featuring into our agenda.
All right, okay. So great opening thoughts to start this conversation. Don't forget, you at home at Morning Live SABC is where you can be part of it via Twitter, and we'll also be getting input from councillors and mayors that are sitting here as well, all from KwaZulu-Natal, but I think it's a snapshot of what's happening across the country, and dare I say the continent as well. So join us again after this quick break, and we'll continue with this very important conversation of women in leadership in local government.